Well, welcome back, everybody. Well, that's very loud, isn't it? Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the lunch. I noticed some of you went round twice. Those places are really small, though, aren't they? You couldn't get enough on. Did you enjoy your lunch, Gordon?
I loved it. I had the chicken. Chicken was all right, wasn't it? It's delicious. Delicious. So we've got half an hour before
we're the warmer pack, by the way, for Chris Akabusi. So we'll just spin on, shall we, Gordon?
Yeah, we'll just crack on, talk about what should I do.
So what we're going to talk about for this half an hour is we've got some challenges post-pandemic where we've changed the way we do things. We've worked from home. We've talked about tech. And we're going to look at some of the solutions, practical solutions that we can do to make sure that we are prime placed for success in the next environment. God. You see, it's the lunchtime afternoon dead slot, isn't it? The issues of capacity, cost, and people. We touched on it earlier. Gordon, let's have a look at some of the solutions or the things that we could think about to actually help with those big issues that we've got. Number one, I guess, is flexibility, which most people have adopted.
So, you're absolutely right. Flexibility is right up there. When you try and hire me, and you go out into the community and say, right, Gordon, we would like to hire you, and I am an average accountant looking for a job, the number one thing I am thinking of is money. How much are you going to pay me? And if you don't get that, I'm afraid you're missing quite a big trick. Now, I'm aware of one member firm by way of example. It's only an example. I can think of two now and thinking about it. One was in Liverpool and one was in Edinburgh, and they both lost 2 members of staff, seemed to be very happy, thank you very much, and they were on about £42,000, that sort of area, and they left for an extra 10 grand each. 10 grand. Now that's a lot of money for us to absorb, but if you want to keep me, you're going to have to think 42. I wonder if he wants a bit more. Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. Gordon, would you like some more money? Yes, please. Who wants some more money? Come on, put your hands up if you want more money, all right? So we all want more money. So put it up the list and say, how are we as a business going to accommodate the number one driver of whether I come and work with you or not? You get your checkbook out in various different guises. One of our friends here today, they pay £10,000 relocation costs to entice people away from the big city, for example, into where they happen to be. 10 grand relocation costs. If my charge-out rate is £100 an hour at £42,000 salary, and you want to pay me £50,000, then my charge-out rate has to go up. So there's some. Was that you? Did you do that again?
It might be that lunch, Gordon.
Baked beans for breakfast, I think. That's taken me right off my train of thought.
I know. It's a good job, really.
So get your checkbook out, and of course there's an implication with the price of your client. So this is moving, and we need to accept it. Number 2 on the list is flexibility. I think the wider issue is benefits. Now, you had a good conversation this morning about well-being. One of the things that well-being brings on is, am I feeling well working with you? And what can you do to make me feel better, feel more valued? Do you pay my gym subscription? Do you have a corporate deal with the local gym to encourage you and your team to go down and work out? Because we all know it's good for you. But what are you doing to encourage that? Do you have fruit in the office? Because vitamin C is very good for you. Do you have water everywhere you look? Not coffee machines, because caffeine's not good for you. You know these things. So if you want me to come and work with you, we're talking about pay and benefits, and the biggest benefit is flexibility. And that's the one that's driving, and that's why it's on the list. It's the number one thing. So we expect you to come in the office between 9 and 5:30. Gone are those days. We don't expect that anymore. When would you like to come in? You need to come in because you need to get to know the team, and especially I mentioned earlier, the very experienced guys in the room that don't want to go in the office you've got to come in because you've got so much wealth of experience to train the youngsters with. So come in the office between 10 and 4, or what do you wear when you come in the office? Do you mind? Is it something you get anxious about? Wear what you like. And there's just a little thing subject to being, reasonable. You can't have people showing up in their swimming costumes and flip-flops. Or can you? You see?
There's some people in the audience with flip-flops already, Gordon, in here.
I noticed.
I think what Gordon's saying is don't be mean, and you can be subtle about the money thing in terms of the benefits. The Golden Hello relocation package, that's going to attract, candidates. I remember when I was about 18, I was in the Territorial Army when I was at university, and they used to pay us a bounty year 1, 2, and 3, and year 3 was really big. Okay, yeah, small year 1, bigger year 2, year 3 bounty. I have seen and talked to a number of firms who are starting to bring that bounty, because once you've trained these people, it takes 6 years, in my opinion, to get your money out. Is that right? You put all this effort into getting these people professionally qualified. You've got to hold their hands for 3 years while they go through that process. You want another 3 years out of these people when they qualify, or when they are probably at their most productive. So bounties work in terms of the keeping people tied into your firm. And here's the latest attractive. I was talking to the managing HR person at Xero. Well, sorry, they should remain anonymous, but you can see their adverts in any social media. And they're attracting talent to their business in addition to salary, in addition to the usual holidays, 10 days well-being time. An extra 10 days to get your head straight, to get things, to do the things that you need to do. And interestingly, your son has been offered that at one of the larger accounting firms who should remain anonymous.
Shall we remain anonymous, PwC specifically? They offered 5 days to young Sam and all the team members to go and hang out and do social work and charity work,
yeah.
All of that, all good corporate social responsibility. The only drawback is, I said, how many days have you actually managed to find? He said, absolutely none. He said, I'm way too busy to take advantage of these 5 days that in theory are at your disposal.
So you could add that to 20 days, really. They won't have time to do it. They'll be studying. I think when the kids, when Sharon was talking about Gen Z, they grew up with iPhones and Samsung Galaxies. These kids want good technology. We think we all know that, so we must have the best technology to attract the best talent. That's a given, isn't it? What we're finding with firms from talking to them now is that actually we've got all this software to do accounts, tax, payroll, bookkeeping, and we only know a small fraction of it. And we've learned that on the job typically. We all had the induction day with a software provider, and we got the basics, and we've learned from other people how to do this and that shortcut and this production line and what we do there. But actually we only know a small bit, and we're seeing more and more firms spend more time training on their existing software to get the maximum benefit from it post-COVID.
That's exactly right. Another thought is when you go into the office tomorrow morning and you do your normal routine and you come and see one of your colleagues and you say, oh, how's the ABC? Oh, no, you don't. You don't say that anymore. You say, how are you? That's what you say first up. You say, how are you this morning? And then please wait for the answer. All right, just show a bit of interest, please. Please wait. How many people do you know say, how are you? All right. And then they carry on. They answer the question before they've even... So ask them how they are, listen to the answer, and then you say, and how's the ABC job doing? And, are we on time? And is it going over budget? And all of those things that we're all used to. The next question, do not leave that meeting without saying, who do you know that could come and work for us? 24/7, 365, recruitment is on our agenda. Who do you know that could come and work for us? Are we going down to the schools? What are we doing about recruitment every single day that we're working? Have we written to clients 3, 4, 5 times a year? You know the one. Dear client, dear John, business is great and we're looking for more. That old chestnut. If you know somebody who you think would enjoy working with us, do not hesitate to give them our name and number. When you go and so you do that 3 or 4 times, because these clients do have knowledge. They might have some clients who have got people in the accounting profession. Then you hang out with your lawyer friends and your bankers and other professional contacts, and it's just part of the general conversation. On the agenda for your client meetings, who do you know that could work for us? Because eventually that network will come back, because it's there already, but we don't do it enough, and we haven't got enough passion behind it. So if you want to hire people, they're there all right. We're just not reaching out in the right way, and you've got a lovely network that you're just not leveraging. So I would certainly ask your clients and your team members regularly, who do you know?
You have to put passion into getting people. You know, the more passion you put into getting people, the more 360 review that you have on recruitment every day, thinking about getting people in. If this is what you want, the more passionate you are will attract more passionate people. It's just that attitude, that real attitude attracts.
It is. And of course, then you're thinking, profiling these people that you want to come and work. So if you want to hire in a tax god at 50 years old or something like that, probably not social media. But if you want to bring in some youngsters, then definitely social media. You want to put stuff out on Instagram and Facebook and link the two together that you're looking for business. And all of these things that you do should be part of the communication. So we offer 10 days for well-being time. We offer golden hellos. We do handshakes. We do Brucey bonuses for loyalty. I mean, let's just keep going. So people say, well, my account, they don't do that. Oh, no, but we do. We do all of this shit. You know, we want people to come with us, and we want them to stay with us.
That's not the right way to say it, Gordon, but what he meant was crap. That's continually recurring accounting problem clients. And, you know, that's so old, isn't it? So, you know, you've got to have that passion to get the people at 360. It is something you need to do. I mean, we've seen lots more firms introduce morning prayers. That's not just praying that we can get through this crisis. But we've had it in 2020 for years, where we all get round and we sort of stand round and say, with a cup of tea, coffee, what are we going to be doing this week? And we all share, so that the firm, now that can be done on Zoom or it can be done face to face. The next thing that we're seeing big time, and you've really got to embrace this, is all of you work your socks off for 18 months. We said that already. And a big congratulations to you for keeping your clients, supporting them, you know, through. Some of you worked pro bono, some of you worked at half fee, some of you didn't charge for CJRS, SICE, BBL. Brilliant. Well done, all of you. But what you have to remember is that we've only got a certain amount of time and only a certain amount of, you know, we've got to think about our mental well-being, and we're here on this earth to do certain things and that are not accounting, bookkeeping or payroll. So we have to think about our work-life balance a little bit more. And to do that, you've got to look at your client base and get rid of those crap clients. Don't hang around with this. How many of you have got clients that you shouldn't really be acting for?
We all know we do.
So get rid of them. Nicely, Gordon, with a letter. Dear client.
Yeah, always nicely.
Nicely, subtly.
Go to our the website, go to the member zone, and you'll see what's called PITA letters. PITA stands for pain in the arse.
Assets.
PITA letters. And it goes something like this. Dear John, you can use the COVID, by the way, is a really good. Since the COVID, the pandemic has struck, we've had to reorganize our affairs, technology. One of the implications, sadly, is that your fee will go up by
40%.
70%. Choose a figure.
Use 60% if you don't really like them.
So let's say 60%. Let's settle on 60. And then comma, which we think's a bit steep. Because you can know they're reading it, Jesus, fuck, what? So, and you just filled it in, you said, which we think's a bit steep. So, assuming you don't want to work for the new fee, here are two excellent accountants who we think will do the job you want them to do for a price that you want to pay.
And they love crap clients. No, sorry, I didn't say that.
Now, if the client says 60% is just fine, then they're no longer a PITA, really, are they? Because at the end of the day, Our job is to get clients through a whole load of shit. You know, that's what we do. They arrive with their stuff, and then you sort of tidy it all up and present it in a nice way, and the revenue say that's fine and all good, and they crack on. So it's not that we not deal with rubbish. We do that all the time. It's just that we don't get paid for it, and sometimes they're a bit rude. So the other thing to do, of course, is the rude clients, they need a quiet chat, and it's your job. So if I'm working for Ian and there's a rude client, Ian doesn't want me to leave, so he's done all of this stuff, and now it is removing unprofitable stroke rude clients. Ian has to pick the phone up and say, John, you are rude. Stop it. Because I don't want my staff to leave, and I don't want you being rude. And if you're going to be rude, you can bugger off. It's a conversation which we've all had in our lives. And I just think you don't want an environment. Right now, you just don't need the grief. And your staff certainly don't need the grief, and you don't need it. So let's get rid of the clients that are not nice to us.
Yeah, you can grade them A through D, just don't tell, and then work your program as you know from the stuff. And then here's the other thing, as we said it earlier, you have to really think long and hard about offshoring. We've had an offshoring team at 2020 since 2015. That's 6 years, and they've been marvellous, haven't they?
Absolutely marvellous, and I just cannot get my head around why you wouldn't want to do it, other than you don't need more people. But if you need more people, then you can't find them. But it's bigger than that. I'm spending 2 hours doing Ian's tax return, rude bastard that he is, doesn't pay enough. And Ian said, we say, well, hang on a minute, Gordon. Why don't you get somebody else to do Ian's tax return, and then you can spend those 2 hours doing something you actually like doing? Maybe you want to get into tax planning or do something a bit more up the value chain. So there's two things happening here. Not only are you creating capacity for your team to develop as people, you're also getting the job done in a scalable way. So as tax season arrives, and I know a number of thinking, oh my God, we've got so many tax returns, I just don't know whether we're going to do it all. Go and see Vipul, get that sorted out in a matter of days. Go to bed, wake up the following morning, 20 tax returns are done. Is that a nice feeling? Wake up in the morning, that's 20 tax returns done. Marvellous.
And these people are marvellously qualified and skilled, and they can work on the cloud, and the security's all in place. So let's just move that one on, shall we? Do it. Just choose to look into outsourcing if you're not doing it a little bit more seriously, or choose to do it more of. Now, we had Andrew talk about disruptive technologies, which was a marvellous session. I think you'll all agree. A bit earlier, absolutely brilliant with some of the websites and apps that he showed us to go and look at and think about our security and think about how we go on social media. What we're seeing is obviously intelligent AI and intelligence is here. If you're an audit firm, you're probably using an AI piece of software to analyze, reframe, sort, pivot all of your clients' data. And the technology is there. It's in practice. I'll show you two examples, Engine B and Inflow, that Gordon and I have seen, nothing to do with us at 2020, that we've seen recently. This particular piece of software sucks out the client's data, lobs it into the AI, and then it looks for unusual movements and or fluctuations. It does all of that analytical procedure stuff that and same with Inflow, does exactly the same. It's here. Now, if you're doing accountancy work, it's also here in different formats and different software. So one of the things we could be looking at is how do we error spot quickly? And what we're seeing with firms that are moving this way, and I guess all of us will, is that they are starting to look at the suppliers and the exhibitors out there for more intelligent ways of doing things. The key word is platforms. You've got to have a platform where you can see all your clients, what state of preparation they are in for accounts, bookkeeping and payroll, so that you go in, have your cup of tea, coffee, get rid of your email and sit there and look at where you are so you can make decisions quicker. We're seeing electronic work papers, Gordon, that really are just now mandatory. Why would you carry a file around in your arm? I mean, I started as an accountancy trainee in 1985. And I used to have to carry it. The managing partner said, young Fletcher, you sprog, carry a file round with you when you're at the client's premises so they think you're doing something even if you're not. And you know, we did, but why would you have paper anymore when people are not there? Paperless accounting, paperless auditing work papers.
Well, this is a very, very good example, and I know a number of you use it, but it's when you see the last session about benchmarking, you'll see it's blindingly obvious that if you're not doing something like workflow, my work papers, then you're missing a trick. And I'll remind you, if I am the fee earner that's supposed to be doing this job, and you're asking me to do it the old way, that's not a good thing to keep me on board. You've got to get me thinking, this is the new way, this is efficient. And with the time that you've saved, Gordon, either you can do more of it, or you can skill up and add value.
Now, before we move, as we move swiftly on, niching is going to be very important. So if you wanted to niche in finance with your clients, prospects, and regionally other businesses, and you wanted to offer finance, why wouldn't you look at something like Capitalise, which can say, suck in your data from Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, stick it on a platform, do the application for finance, and give you an instant decision saying these 3 or 4 providers will be there. That's the sort of platform you want. Same with bad debts. If you've got bad debts in your client's P&L and you know they're bad, then you can have a platform that presses the button that chases the thing up.
So one of the great things that Ian's showing us right now is that there's an assumption that my records are on the cloud and it's real time and you've got access to it 24/7. So a lot of these platforms are only really of any value if it's timely. Bad debts would be a very good example. So if you set up an alert on your client's records that there's a bad debt, you get a little email to say Gordon's had a bad debt. And then, of course, you get on the phone, you say, have you a VAT refund? What are you doing about debt collection? Where do you need refinancing? Have you looked at our platform for Capitalise and refunding? And I'll say, oh, I haven't looked at that. Well, click on our website and then you'll see, and then give me a call. Or I'll phone you tomorrow afternoon. Because this is the way it's all moving. Now, if I'm a member of your team coming back to the most basic of all the issues, how excited am I going to be that your practice, the firm I work in, is taking my client base into this zone? Capitalise, a few other examples.
Dext
there.
is another one where
Dext
you can see on a platform
example.
the state of your client's books, who needs a VAT return. The big question, though, is how do we cope with all this software that's coming at us? And honestly, you've got to take a step back and just look and examine and make sense of your production workflows. Use something like Miro.com to whiteboard, this is the way we do it in our office. Get all the team involved. We're now through this 18-month period. The vaccination program is going great. We're returning to some kind of normality, albeit not fully normal. Therefore, what do we do when we prepare a set of accounts, a tax return, a payroll, a VAT return? What do we do? What are the processes? And then look for the bottlenecks or the people that are holding you back, partners, sorry. Just look for the bottlenecks and to see where you're playing ping pong with files or emails to clear up and close down jobs, because most money is lost at the fag end of any job. The back end of any job is where you lose the money. You know, we all start and then we start hitting missing information, we start hitting walls. So think about how you do it, sit with the team and say, okay, if we got this software, could we speed up the way we do things, and use that as your template for deciding what software you put into your production.
The other thing that this does is, and I'm sure you've come across this before, where one partner does it one way and another partner does it another way.
And another partner does it in a way that nobody knows. Who works in a practice like that?
We've all been there.
At the back.
But this stops that. Apart from anything else, this is how we do it, guys. This is the way we do it. Right or wrongly, this is the way we do it now. So when we get to our planning meeting Friday morning, Monday morning prayers, up comes the flow chart, say, where are we? Are there any bottlenecks? Are there accounts that we need to get over the line and build rather than start a new job? And all of those debates come out of a nice, simple workflow.
Back to basics is what a number of firms are doing on that. And so what should our strategy be? Let's finish on strategy, Gordon. What should our strategy be for going forward? Which sector of the market should we be in as independent accounting firms? Where should we sit in the market? Well, this is your favourite survey of all time, Gordon, so you can take us through this. What do clients really want from their accountant? I mean, it's never going to be a set of accounts, is it? You know, there's that old phrase that you used once, you know, you never hear a client saying, put me down for 2 of those, it's the best audit I've ever had. Never happens.
No.
So what do clients really want?
So the question, to be clear, and maybe you can't see in the back, is other than reduce your fees, what could your accountant do to improve value for money? Now, behind that question, there is an assumption that there's a certain type of client you are interested in. So if I asked, shall we say, Mrs. Granny Smith, tax return only client, other than reduce the fees, what could we do? I think you'll get a resounding, not a lot. You can just reduce the fees, thank you very much. Because they're one vanilla scoopers. Now what we're talking about here are clients where you think there's more to it. There's more to it. There's profit improvement, there's cash flow, there's wealth management, there's tax planning, there's all sorts of stuff that we're talking about here. So they said, the one thing you need to do if you're going to improve value for money is come and talk to me in the various ways. Send me newsletters. And Ian, of course, as you know, was responsible for pretty well all the COVID updates that you kindly sent on to your clients, and that's very proactive. That is, here's the latest gossip on all the COVID support that you might want to know about coming from the accounting firm. Sorry, you're rushing me along here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the clock, Gordon, and you're blah-blahing.
Okay.
Just talk about the future, not their past, all right? So you want to be positioned either here or here, never in the middle. You want to be low price, pile them high, sell them cheap, or you want to be high value, high price.
Exactly.
Market's driving the price down as technology comes online. So be prepared, and a good sensible position will be up there. Things like having the client learning center on your website. If you're a platinum member, then you have this client learning center. You can link your website to it, which talks about forward-thinking things, strategy, growth, funding, finance. Well, it doesn't talk about Brexit anymore because we removed that. And niche. Think about niches. Now, this is the brand new Property Landlords Niche Group launched by 2020, and thank you to those who participated in this. You can have lots of information, website, newsletter, fact sheets, small subscription. Coming out on the 1st of December, Michael. 1st of December, if anybody has any of those type clients, first release of the Property Landlords Niche, and the first in a line of series from 2020.
Because the number one driver, if I'm thinking of buying your services, is, are you specialized in what I want to buy? That's by far the most influential buying decision, and the easiest way for you to demonstrate that you specialize in what I want to buy. If I'm a landlord and you say we specialize in landlords, the job's yours. It's no longer about price. I know you specialize, and that's why we're starting with landlords, because it's one of the biggest.
And the most important question you can ask any client, face-to-face, Zoom, telephone, the million-dollar question if you want to be in the high-value, high-price sector. The million-dollar question that Chris Akabusi is going to talk, I'm sure, as if you were coaching your client to help them towards their strategic plans themselves. What are you trying to do with this business? Where do you see it going? How are you going to grow your business? That if you know what they want to do with their business, whether it's exit, profit, you can then help coach them to the level that they wish to get. But if you don't know the big question, you'll never get there. And that adds value through and through for clients.
Well, then you've got the next questions, which day follows night. What do you need to know every month to know that you're getting in the right direction? Do you want us to put something in place that will allow you to do that? Is it worth allocating some time? So you can just see this conversation developing. Would you like to know the outcome of a business decision before you took it? Yes, I would. Right, let's show you what happens if you had a price increase of 5%. Let's show you the impact that has on your business. Oh, look, we're overcooking on the...
I know, it's you, Gordon.
Oh, sorry.
So the key takeaways are get rid of your unprofitable clients. Number 2, outline your systems and drop in tech. Don't do it the other way around. Don't drop in tech and try and work around that tech. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo. Offshore and outsource everywhere. Ask the right questions and have resources that educate and attract clients. Those, and obviously targeted niches, those are the 6 key takeaways for the session. Thank you very much indeed. We will hand over to Michael Roberts.
Thank you, guys.